Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Evans Wrestling right here today. It's been a while since I've been on here, but I am back right now here for you guys with another video on Evans Wrestling. And today we'll be doing this video will be on a certain individual in the wrestling business. Today video is going to be the downfall of Chris Fat Ass Jericho. So, to kick off this downfall of Chris Jericho video, first off, Chris Jericho, he goes by the name of the Learning Tree nowadays. And to be honest, that nickname is stupid. It's corny as all hell. And why would he give himself a nickname of something that he's not? Okay, that's just one reason why Chris Jericho is gone downhill. Next, he's out of shape. Now, I'm not saying Chris Jericho. I'm not fat shaming Jericho in any way. I get he's getting older. I get that people get old. I get that people age. But let's be honest, dude. You need get back in the gym, man. Like, if you've been in the gym, you probably aren't as working hard as you used to. I know you're old and you can't lift those weights anymore, and those arms are getting a little those little arms of yours are getting fragile. But come on, dude, get in the gym, lift some weights, bro. It's kind of odd that when that freaking it's kind of odd. It's really a shame when a guy like Cody Rhodes or AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is almost at the same age as you, Chris, or he's around that or getting there. And look at him, dude's jacked to the gills. Because AJ's been in the gym, he's been pumping that iron. What have you been doing besides pumping food down your throat? Nothing. Also, he needs to retire. Now Jericho is one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time. Do not get me wrong here. But Chris, your time has passed, buddy. You need to get off TV. I don't care if you retire and you stay on TV and you're like a commentator or an interviewer or a special guest here and there, or you're like an authority figure on screen, or hell, I don't give a damn if you go to freaking New Japan and be a ring announcer. Just quit wrestling, dude. You're making an embarrassment out of yourself. You're embarrassing AEW, and well, there's a lot of things that's embarrassing AEW, and you're one of them. So that's all I'm going to say on this. On he needs to retire. Next, he buried Hook. Now, I didn't watch AEW Dynasty because I had more important things to do with my time, and I'm not paying no $60-something for a pay-per-view I'm not going to like it for a company I don't even watch, okay? And let's just be honest, AEW Dynasty sucked. The only thing that came out of the event was Swerve Strickland winning the World Championship. That's the only thing That's the only thing that came out of that event. Let's just be honest. And don't sit there and say Ospreay and Danielson, because to me that match is overrated as all hell. To me, Will Ospreay is overrated. And Bryan Danielson's awesome. He's good, but he's kind of getting a little bit overrated, honestly, too. Don't get me wrong. Bryan Danielson, awesome. Great technical wrestler. He's one of the best. But to me, he's getting overrated. He's as overrated as Will Ospreay is right now, and he's kind of overrated as Kenny Omega right now. So yes, back to him burying Hook. He beat Hook at Dynasty. And in all honesty, if I was Jericho, I would have put Hook over to build Hook for like a more top role. But enough with that. Next, he doesn't put anybody over. I do not remember the last time Chris Jericho put anybody over. It's because I don't watch AEW, and I'm never going to watch AEW. I did when AEW first started, until I realized what AEW was all about, and the only reason why AEW was there. And I'm not going to go into that because I don't have time. Next, he bashes the WWE for no reason. And now Jericho, he's not the only one that bashes WWE. Watch an episode of Dynamite or Collision or Rampage, and you'll catch my drift here. So yes, excuse me. He sits there and he sits there and he's just like Tony Khan, and he's just like everybody else that works for AEW. He sits there and he praises AEW and says that, and acts like AEW is the greatest thing that ever happened to professional wrestling, when they know damn good and well it's not. AEW is just another Impact Wrestling, and AEW is just another WCW. But let's just be honest here. I'd rather watch WCW than AEW any day. And WCW at least had a roster that had talent, and they didn't throw shots at the WWE every week. I mean, they did here and there, but they didn't do it every single second and every single week. Also, connected to this bashing WWE, remember, guys, when the whole NXT and Dynamite ratings war happened last year? He said last year, the reason why Cody Rhodes and The Undertaker were on NXT is because nobody else wants to be on their second-rate show. Now, when I seen this is what pissed me off. It's like, you're calling NXT second-rate, but that on that night, the only thing I seen on that show was Edge, Adam Copeland, whatever you want to call him nowadays, was wrestling Luchasaurus, a freaking dinosaur. Really? You're going to put Edge, one of your biggest signings and one of the biggest wrestling superstars of all time, against a freaking dinosaur? Like, seriously? Like, you couldn't do Edge versus Christian, or you couldn't do Edge versus Jericho, Edge versus Omega, or something like that. But a dinosaur? Really? Now, we all know. Now, when I seen that, we all know who won that war that night, and it was NXT. Next. Now, I mean this figuratively. I don't mean it literally. I mean, they might do it literally, but I don't know. He sucks off Tony Khan. And what I mean by that is, he sits there and he acts like Tony Khan is the greatest person to ever get involved in the pro wrestling business. He sits there and says, Tony has passion. Tony can't book a show from the ground up. The only reason that AEW is around nowadays is because of Tony Khan's daddy, okay? And that attack by Jack Perry and the Young Bucks on that episode of Dynamite, that was garbage. He got hit with the gut in the microphone. He went back on his back. When you get hit with a gut with a microphone, wouldn't you go front? Wouldn't you go forward? Not back? And then he laid there, and then he grabbed his stomach 2 minutes after he got hit? Really? That was an embarrassment. Tony Khan doesn't have passion. He's a little boy who thinks he's the greatest and thinks he's the greatest of all time when he's not. Thinks he's the greatest of all time when he's not. Also, last year, before All In, now if you guys don't know, Chris Jericho faced Will Ospreay at All In last year. It was garbage. I didn't watch All In last year because I had more important things to do with my time. He said last year on an episode of Dynamite in a promo, now you marks won't remember this, if you all watch AEW, I don't know. He said his match with Will Ospreay at All In is bigger than any show in the Tokyo Dome. He said his match with Will Ospreay last year is bigger than any WrestleMania ever. Really? You cannot sit there and tell me that Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho was better than WrestleMania, was more important than WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 1, for God's sakes. Hell, WrestleMania 11 was a better show than AEW All In last year. Just saying facts there. Don't agree with me, I don't give a shit. So, also, he said leaving the WWE was his biggest obstacle, his biggest risk. Really? You've wrestled how many guys, and jumping from one company to another was your biggest risk? Please, give me a break. Also, next, his band Fozzy sucks nowadays. I've seen no good music from Fozzy nowadays. The only good songs I've seen them have were Enemy and Judas. Those are the only two songs that you really care to remember, honestly. Next, his matches absolutely blow nowadays. His matches suck balls. They are boring. They're the same stuff over and over and over. And all you see is Jericho and his stupid little black tights and his stupid little long hair looking like a freaking mom, for God's sakes. Yeah, his matches are slow, they're boring, they're just unwatchable. Chris Jericho is just unwatchable nowadays in general. I really don't care what you people think. Jericho is not only embarrassing himself, but he's embarrassing the wrestling business too, and he's embarrassing AEW. He's one of the reasons embarrassing AEW. There's a lot of them that's more than that, but... Now, to end this video off, the last topic on the downfall of Chris Jericho, this is the big scandal involving Chris Jericho earlier this year, when rumors and reports came out that Chris Jericho forced himself. Now, I don't know if he forced himself onto her, but he made sexual advantages towards women's wrestler Kylie Ray.